Hello friends, in this video we are going to see the basic concepts of HTML, CSS and JavaScript for beginners. That is the three idiots. So, every web page on the internet uses HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Think of them as the foundational and coding languages of the internet. Just like how India has many languages, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, web pages also have languages. In the case of websites, their languages are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Sure, you may have heard of them, but do you really know how they work? Let's see. Web development, what you see when you go to a website, I call them the three idiots. HTML is hypertext markup language or the builder. CSS is cascading style sheets, which I consider the artist, and JavaScript, the wizard. They are all different languages and work differently, but HTML, CSS, and JavaScript need one another to make a website. Imagine you want to code this homepage using HTML. HTML essentially would define all the content, the text, the images, the links. This is an example coding, but without CSS, the artist, and without JavaScript, the wizard, and HTML only website would look like this. So, CSS adds the styling to a website. CSS can't live without HTML, or else there would be nothing to style. It is responsible for outlining the colors, the fonts, and the positioning of the content. So, this is an example of CSS. So, now your website will look like this. Now we come to JavaScript, the wizard. Pop-up error messages, the autocompletes that you use, that is all JavaScript. Now that you understand how it works, and the three idiots, here are three things to remember about HTML, CSS and JavaScript. These code languages is nothing but front-end web development. They make up what is called front-end web development. Front-end web development is what you see when you land on a page, as opposed to back-end web development is actually what makes an application on the web work. The second is these code languages are translated by web browsers. Web browsers like Firefox and Chrome translate these three languages into the visual web page. Without a browser, these languages are just words on a page. Sometimes, because of this, website looks slightly different on Chrome, Firefox, and definitely look different on Internet Explorer. Because of all these browsers translate a little differently. The third is these code languages evolve over time. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are constantly evolving. It's just like any language. These coding languages have a history. They have been around for a few years now. Right now, the standard language procedures for HTML is greater than CSS, and JavaScript are called HTML5. There's even a body and a society online that manages the rules and best practices of how to build for front-end development. So in the beginning, you actually had HTML controlling a lot of visual aspects. You used a bold tag to make the text bold. You used a center tag to make your text centered. But over time, after the 90s, you actually had CSS making up most of that. In the beginning, JavaScript was mostly for pop-ups, and now it animates most of our websites. So whatever you see on the World Wide Web, you have the three idiots to thank for it. Thank you for watching this video.